Melissa from the House of Plaid Fuzz, and today I have a little bit different video for you. I'm going to talk to you about why I'm quitting my job. Now, you may or may not know that I have been a hairstylist for the past 20 years. I know you wouldn't know it from looking at my hair, but it's like they say about mechanics and their cars, like my hair is the last to get done. But I started beauty school about 2 weeks after my 17th birthday, and I have worked consistently in the hair industry ever since. I worked about 16 years of my career for a big salon corporation. I worked in several of their different brand concepts. I did everything from, you know, just being a stylist in a walk-in only type of salon to on up to managing twice. I was a master stylist. I had worked my way up, basically up the food chain about as far as I could go. The last few years I was in that corporation, I was extremely burnt out, extremely unhappy. There was just a lot of issues with the local management, and just without really getting into it, it just was not a good fit for me anymore. So about a little over 3 years ago, I struck out on my own, and I've been renting a chair ever since, 100% self-employed. And it's been great. Like, honestly, I have learned to love doing hair again, whereas I was so burnt out before I had really lost that. Well, you may or may not know, about a year ago, a little less than a year ago, I started having some major issues with my back. And basically, long story short, maybe 5 years ago, I fractured my foot. Well, I was not allowed to take the time off, and I couldn't afford to take the time off, that it needed to heal. And so it just never healed properly. Well, about 3 years ago, when we were moving, a bed frame, a big heavy like wooden and metal bed frame, fell directly on top of my foot and refractured that foot. And once again, I was not able to really take the time off that I needed to heal. I was advised to stay completely off of it for 6 weeks, because at the time it was basically so swollen they couldn't even get really a good x-ray of it. So long story short, I mean, it healed up. I can walk on it, whatever, but you know, it's been sore ever since. I've had issues with it. And essentially what happened is, from walking funny on my foot for the past several years, plus I have a bad knee on that side, I have pushed my back out of alignment and completely degenerated 2 of my discs in my lower back. And, you know, I've been seeing a chiropractor literally every 2 weeks, which I firmly believe is the only reason that I'm even able to like really walk at this point. But, you know, my mobility has still been greatly affected. I'm not able to walk for very long distances. I'm not able to stand for a long time. Now, I was used to working like 13-hour days. I was a very busy stylist. I would double book colors. And so now I'm only able to do one color at a time. And like, that's it. Like, that's my day, is one client. I just can't stand for any longer than that. So in the past year, I've cut my hours dramatically back. And I'm pretty much just down to like my core clients. Like, all the clients I see now, they've been with me, I would say probably at least 7 years, on up to like 16 years. And like, that has been better, but it still hurts my back. It's still a struggle for me to work at all, basically. And every time I go to the salon, I'm hurting my back more and hurting my foot more. And now, after 20 years of doing hair, I'm also developing, I have bursitis in both of my shoulders. I'm developing like further issues, actually in both shoulders. It's always been really bad in my right, and it's starting to get pretty bad in my left. I have issues with my neck. You know, just 20 years of standing on your feet for 13 hours a day is taking a toll. So recently, I had a deal where one of my very longtime clients started going to another stylist, to another salon. Which is fine. I don't begrudge anyone that. Just, you know, I know that my availability is not great anymore, but she didn't tell me. She just quit coming in. I kind of had to hunt her down to get an answer. And I was pretty upset about that because, you know, after that many years, you kind of feel like you're friends with somebody. And my husband just kind of sat me down. He's like, listen, like, it's time for you to quit. He's like, please quit. He's like, you know, you're physically hurting yourself. And he's like, it's just not worth the stress. So I sat down and I crunched some numbers. I mean, I knew I wasn't bringing a lot of money home because I have a lot of overhead. You know, I have to carry like liability insurance. I pay rent, whether I'm there for 3 hours a week or, you know, 70 hours a week. I pay the same amount of rent. You know, products are expensive. I have a lot of overhead. And so I sat down and kind of crunched the numbers and like, it's just not worth my time anymore. So I gave myself about a week to stew on it. And you know, as sad as I am to quit and close a 20-year chapter, I started kind of feeling excited. Like, you know, if I'm not working in the salon, I'm going to actually have time to devote to my blog and my YouTube channel. And, you know, if I'm not working in the salon, I can give my foot and my back time to actually heal up. And that's when I knew it was definitely time. So I decided for sure a couple of weeks ago, and I just started telling my clients like within the last week or so. And it has been hard. I've had people threaten to show up on my doorstep. They're like, I know where you live, Melissa. Like, you can still do my hair. But mostly it's just been positive. And so I'm really thankful to be able to end on a positive note and still be friends with my clients and keep in touch. And, you know, nothing says that if, you know, I can't get healed up and get myself healthy, nothing says I can't go back into the industry. I am going to keep my license up, at least for now. The questions that I have had since I've started telling people is everyone's like, well, what are you going to do now? I ain't going to do nothing. I would say I've worked like a dog for the past 20 years. And I'm fortunate enough now, and like, you know, even when my husband and I first got married, I was the main breadwinner. Well, now we're in the position that he has a good job and I can let him support me for a while. Which obviously I'm not literally going to be just like sitting around eating bonbons, but I'm going to be working probably fairly full time on my blog and, you know, all of my little side hustles. But for now, I am just going to take a break, and I don't have a real plan, which is kind of exciting. Not very many people get that opportunity in life to just kind of quit the job that's not right for them and kind of wait and see what else falls into their lap. So I am excited about that. My husband's job is a little seasonal. I mean, he's working full-time through the winter, but in the summer he gets like mega overtime. So his paychecks are about like a third of what they are in the summer right now. So we are going to have to budget and actually watch it. But we sat down and crunched the numbers and we'll be fine. And I am really thankful he's so supportive. Like, he's the one that's really has pushed me to quit. And like, he works more than full-time at his job, but he also does Uber on the side. And he's like, you know what? If we have a slim week, I'll Uber an extra day. So I'm blessed that he is willing to step up and, kind of take that extra burden on himself. And that's not to say, like I said, I have a bunch of side hustles. That doesn't say I won't be contributing at all, but for now, I guess I'll just be a kept woman and living a life of leisure a bit. So there you have my long rambling story as to why I quit my job. I do have a couple pieces of advice for anyone who is dissatisfied with their job that would like to get to that same point where they can quit. I mean, on one hand, for me, this was kind of a sudden decision. But on the other hand, we have made a lot of decisions and done a lot of intentional things in the years leading up to this that made it possible for me to just quit. So I would just tell you, you know, if that's something you would eventually like to do, is just quit your job and, you know, do whatever you're passionate about. First of all, you know, start living below your means now. Start paying off your debt. And just start getting yourself financially into that position where you can live off of one income or off of a smaller income. Because I can tell you this would be a lot more stressful of a decision if we had not, you know, a couple years ago started getting our financial ducks in a row. All right, so thanks for listening to me ramble here. I'm gonna leave links below for my blog, my social media, all that good stuff. And if you don't already subscribe, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.